Okay, hello everyone. Today we're playing Master X Master, and we're trying out a solo Nightmare run. Now I've actually done this run like 10 times already. Originally people were saying that Nightmare could not be soloed, and yeah, it turns out they're very much wrong. I managed to get the first solo run in the game, which made me really happy, and then just a day after a bunch of other people, well, 2 other people did a solo run on this mission. So, I've managed to solo this a lot of times already. I already have the achievement for doing Nightmare runs, like, however many times it requires. We've done all of that. The game is really fun, honestly. I think the people who thought that soloing Nightmare would not be doable also did not account for the fact that some of the missions have very dodgeable patterns. A lot of the time, this game is very similar to Spiral Knights, in which it's just don't get hit, and you'll be fine. And there's even characters that counteract that, in particular Moro and Nedian. I think those are going to be the characters that make solo so good. Moro has the huge advantage that he lets you heal both of your characters, which no other character can do. And then Nedian heals herself, like, infinitely. She can tank anything if you position right. So I think those 2 characters are going to be what makes soloing completely viable. Anyways, though, this is the Calico Pressing Factory, or whatever it is. It becomes the Caligo Grinding Factory later on. It's fairly easy, as it turns out. I suppose I shouldn't say easy considering Nightmare in general is a couple hits and you're dead, and there's no revives. But relative to many other missions, I think this and Derelict are the easiest ones I've tried so far. We're gonna swap over to Nedian because she has amazing CC and also a lot of AoE damage. But yes, the slow on her E-bottle is just so good. And you'll notice I'm okay with taking a few hits here on Nedian just because of this. Every 3 stacks of her passive you get some health back, and it scales to percent health. If you have Nightmare nodes, which I've got a couple of equipped, you get 5% max health for each node. So, you end up scaling up because it's percent health healing, and you just heal a metric crap ton. With a full Nightmare node page, you'd have plus 30% health, plus whatever the node bonuses are, so it just gets ridiculous. And of course we're just going through this as quickly as possible, because higher ranks do give more reward. The goal is to get an A rank every mission. It is probably possible to get an S or higher even in solo, but you'd have to do it really fast. I'd either need actual nodes, I don't have a full setup, a maxed character, because I don't actually have my Lua maxed, or just some OP sort of character set. I'm not sure that the best has actually been discovered. I'm using Lua because I have her. There's probably better. I'm also going to pop ult here because it'll make this quite a bit faster. Nedian's ult gives her a ton of attack speed, some movement speed, and it resets her overheat. Both when it starts and when it ends. So by using it we effectively get a ton of damage out there. And now we can swap back to Lua since it's less targets again. Lua does have good AoE, but it's all in a burst, whereas Nedian's like a consistent damage dealer that happens to do AoE, which is fantastic. I did take a lot of damage on Lua there, so I'll have to swap off, but she'll slowly recover anyways. And most of the time in this mission, I don't end up getting hit anyways. The biggest thing is that this room is the hardest regular room in the mission, and just this and the boss are a problem. Everything else is very easy. Alright. Now there are a lot of enemies here. I'm just gonna make sure that my E is ready for them. And we'll tear through it. Beautiful. The mass-produced bots look like really weak enemies, however they'll actually do 1/3 of your health. They do just over 700 damage. So you don't actually want to get hit by them in any circumstances. Unless you're playing Nedian, but everything else. And even as Nedian, if a few of them hit you at once, you'll just die. So while Nedian's able to heal herself, she's not able to handle burst too well. A couple of nice things that people don't realize so far is that Nightmare has special nodes that only drop from it. Nodes are the, effectively, runes of this game. You set up a node page for a character, they'll get bonuses from it. Most of them you can buy with, like, medals that you get from the PvP, or you can find them from Nightmare missions. However, Nightmare has its own tier, Legendary Plus, which give insane bonuses compared to most. So it's like the optimal grinding place if you play PvE. Nightmare's also just a lot of fun in general. But yeah, so far I think this game is really good. I feel like if you haven't played Master X Master yet and you like high action, like high risk, high reward gameplay, you will like this game. And if you don't like that sort of gameplay, it's probably not for you. Because there are a lot of situations where it's just, if you get hit by this, you're dead. That's all there is to it. However, it's so rewarding when you do complete a run. I remember I was super happy the first time I actually finished a solo Nightmare. And just like people hadn't thought that was possible at first, people will think other things aren't possible, and, well, it'll be up to you to prove them wrong. There's really just a lot of options in this game, and with 25 stages, all with a Nightmare mode, it's gonna be a long time before anyone cracks all of these stages' optimal things. There probably is an optimal loadout for most of the stages that just cheeses it. However, I'm sure there's also gonna be some where it's just skill-intensive, too. For example, if you run Vonic on this mission, Vonic has single target damage, and it makes it a lot harder, but also a lot more fun, I find. I'm just running Lua and Nedian right now because they're more able to quickly clear it out in solo especially. But sometime I'll record a Vonic run and you'll be able to see the difference where you have to just sidestep everything or else you lose. It's really quite fun. I don't think I actually need to pop ult here even. I can probably just wait, E it, and then finish it off. I missed the rocket there, which is unfortunate, but I don't think it matters too much. I'm also trying to conserve the ult gauge because there's another arena coming up. And I won't have full ult by the time I get to it unless I conserve the ult right here. The next arena is a bit more difficult than this is, so it just makes more sense. And it's also why I'm trying to not use all of my mana just yet. Alright, so this coming one in the corner there is the one I'm talking about. I think I do actually have to kill this thing to progress. I haven't quite learned, I haven't played it enough yet to know, but... Wow, this thing lived with like 80 health. Alright, and in this arena I'm actually gonna pop a Nedian ult. It makes it so much faster. I believe the bot spawns top right, but we'll see. It does. And I'm able to safely keep holding down attack when I'm about to overheat, because I know that Nedian's ult will wear off in time, so... Let's see... I feel like I can safely swap to Lua now as well. I'll clear it a little bit faster, because she has more single target than Nedian does. Occasionally a rare sentry turret spawns here, and the rare monsters in Nightmare can actually drop legendary plus nodes. The only ways to get them are from the rare monsters, the chests that occasionally spawn, and the end of stage reward, of course. So we want to be on the lookout for those. I am actually going to swap to Nedian, just because Lua has a bit of trouble with this particular thing. The bolterns, they just run at you. And most of the time it doesn't matter too much, but it forces you to screw up your positioning. So with that on the sniper bot, I don't want to risk a free hit for no reason at all. I'm also not going for like first place in the high scores. I already have... Well, I think I already have that actually. Unless another run has been done, which it might have. Just soaked up some damage for free, which is unfortunate. I'll have to try not to do that anymore, or else I will just die outright. And yes, so in Nightmare there is no revive. There is no way to buy revives. There's nothing. I love how this game is not pay to win, because you can just die. It just happens sometimes. Alright, we're swapping to Nedian in case I'd missed the dodge. Walking in because I don't care if I get hit by that one as Nedian though. And it's dead, okay. I don't know if this turret actually has to be killed. Which just gonna kill it just in case. I do know that these enemies don't have to be killed though, so there's no real benefit to doing so. There we go. If it wasn't a bull turn, I probably would kill them anyways, but the bull turn, they have a lot of health. But now, of course, is the most difficult part of the boss. The boss has a few important patterns, and on Nightmare mode, it is obviously much more difficult. One of the nice things about this game is the Nightmare mode actually adds a pattern. It doesn't just increase their stats. So, there's all these pills around the map. If you shoot them, they won't do anything. If you don't shoot them, they will explode into fire, and it does a lot of damage. 1.5 seconds in the fire will kill me right now. So I have to avoid that at all costs. The boss also becomes much more difficult once it's around half health. It's just over half health that it triggers. I'm gonna tank this, just so that I can ult it. I think my ult will just barely last long enough for this phase. It shoots lasers, I can dodge them by just forcing it to shoot in the wrong way. Alright. And I believe this is the last normal phase I'll have, just because of how much damage I'm doing to this thing. Alrighty. Good, so next phase it'll be by half health. And then it'll start getting really difficult. At least it would if I wasn't running Nedion. I feel like Nedion makes this fight easier than it should be, honestly. Which I'm not convinced is a good thing. I kind of wish it was 100% skill intensive, rather. But here's the laser phase. These lasers do a lot of damage, and the goal is to dodge all of them if possible. Usually it is. Sometimes you have to pop your speed boost to be able to, but it's doable. Unfortunately, I got a bad confirmation on those pills, but I should just miss a little bit of damage in exchange. Yeah. I could have cleared the pills, I should have in fact, but sometimes I don't. And then I pay the price. Of course, I will have enough to use 2 more Nedion ults if I survive this. Oh my goodness. Do I clear the pill in time? I do. Excellent. I'm also going to E just to clear that pill over there. That way I can loop around behind. Now I am obviously very low, I have to be sure to dodge things. I did still switch to Lua because of the extra damage output, and I'm convinced that I can avoid most of the lasers there. I have to dodge that or else I would have died instantly, but that's okay because I was ready to react to it. I should have swapped to Nedion faster, I could have E'd that pill, but because I didn't, it cost me a bit of damage. I think it might actually end up making it so that there's one more phase because of that little mistake there. Which is unfortunate, because this would be a very fast clear. Or I could risk this. I think it does enough. Excellent. So there you go! That is probably the fastest clear that's ever been done on this stage. However, because it's solo, it won't be fast enough to get rank 1. And oh my goodness, that is a legendary plus weapon offense node, which is one of the best red nodes in the game. So we're gonna hope for that. Come on. Come on! We didn't get it. Okay, that's too bad. I did need an attunement scaling, but still, that's... Oh. And so I assume, yeah, that was the second place overall run, the top solo run, and the fastest solo run. So that's awesome. In fact, we're only a minute and a half behind a 3-person run, which is a very big difference, and obviously if we duoed it, we could probably just beat this score outright, which is awesome. So yes, that has been a solo Nightmare run in Master X Master. There's probably going to be a lot more to come. The game is so much fun, people are learning it really quickly. It's only been out for just under a week, too. And there you have it. Thank you for watching, have a great day.